There is some spoilers in this video. I am so sorry if you haven't watched either one of the shows. But basically the whole premise of hey y'all, welcome back. So sorry for the delay. I'm making a lot of changes over here, so just want to make sure that I'm creating the best channel possible, something that's really entertaining, something that's creative, and something that's also really thought out. I never want to just put something out that is not structured. So I hope that you guys like this channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's enough small talk. Let's go ahead and get started. So even though this is called movies and makeup, the topic of today is about TV shows. I don't know what else to call it, but it's still gonna be movies and makeup. Those who do want to know what I'm using, I am gonna put it down at the bottom. Okay, so I will be the first person to tell you that remakes, sequels, whatever, that they don't work. And honestly, I'ma still stand on the fact that they don't work. But there is one TV show whose sequel I feel like equal, if not better, to the original. And if you watch TV or you follow my socials, you already know I'm talking about The Boys and Gen V. Boys is about what the world would look like if it was ran by Marvel, DC, just have that type of glitz and glamour life. Basically everything was focused on ratings for the soups. And Soups is just short for superheroes. The Boys has maybe 3 seasons. I want to say it has 3 seasons. Gen V just started this year. And honestly, The Boys, I've always thought was really well written. It's very entertaining. And even though the storyline goes on for 3-4 seasons, they change it up just enough to where you want to watch the next season because it has a different focus point. And I feel like sometimes with series, especially things on streaming services like Prime Video, it's really hard for them to kind of keep the pacing and the momentum going. But The Boys is like comedy and comedy action, but it also has drama, it has horror. It's funny. Like I can't describe it other than you have to watch it to believe it. When I first started watching The Boys, I found it at the beginning of season 3 because I saw a TikTok that was talking about how they use practical sets, and the very first episode of season 3 has something wild. If you know, you know. That was what drew me to the show, was the fact that they use practical sets. Production design wise, The Boys is very, very creative. And the storyline itself, it has so many twists and turns that everything really intertwines very, very well. Sometimes I feel like TV shows have a habit of dragging out a storyline or adding so many side parts to the storyline that it no longer makes sense. But in the case of The Boys, it does. With the writer's strike, this 4th season of The Boys got put on pause, and I was really irritated because I promise you, it's one of the best shows that you ever watch. It's very, very graphic, it's very gory, but honestly, the writing of it, the sets, the order of the stories, just how genuine it flows. Honestly, you don't even care about all the extra side stuff that be happening on the show. Right? I was really anxious about what's gonna happen with The Boys. How are they gonna keep this momentum? But then I saw that they were releasing a show called Gen V, which is supposed to be a spin-off of The Boys. The Boys already has a spin-off, but it's not really a spin-off. It's a cartoon called The Boys Diabolical or something like that. It's nice. I tried to watch it, but I can't really get into it the way that I want to. But Gen V is a live action TV show that follows a college that is focused on the soups. So like kids soups, basically they can go to college to focus on their craft. They can go to school for fine arts. They really do mention a lot of the stars from The Boys, such as Maeve, A-Train, The Deep. I really like that they discussed the characters from The Boys, and it flows. It flows well. They talk about those who went to school for crime fighting. They talk about those who went to school for fine arts. They talk about how A-Train was a really good athlete. Like it's just really interesting how basically the whole premise of Gen V is that the dean, as well as all the administration, knows about this secret hospital where they're taking care of soups, but really all they're doing is either draining them of their power or injecting them with this serum that kills them off. And this is a big deal because you're killing off soups under a school where the soups go. So people are sending their kids to this school, or sometimes The kids are being kidnapped and brought to this jail. Well, I'm not gonna say a jail, but it basically is a jail. The woods is basically a jail. The main character, which is like a Human Torch type of character, his brother is actually in the woods, and that's a big pivotal point for the show. But anyway, all of admin knows about the woods, and all of admin knows something is going on, but not all of them know that the dean is plotting to create a virus that takes out the soups. They're testing this virus on all the soups. It's like giving them these bumps, it's killing them off, but she wants them done. She wants it airborne. She wants it done now. And I couldn't understand why on earth is this lady so adamant on getting rid of all the soups when she's the dean of the school. Remember the boys? So back in maybe season 1, I want to say it was season 1, Homelander and Maeve go to this plane and they're trying to save this plane from being taken over by terrorists or whatever, but they can't save them. Homelander and Maeve cannot save everybody. So what does he do? He leaves them. He leaves them to crash and burn. No matter how much Maeve was begging and crying, he still left them to crash and burn. Fast forward back to Gen V. Shetty, the dean of Godolkin, which is the college that all the soups are going to, daughter and husband was on that plane. And I just thought that was such a major twist, because if you don't realize how pivotal that is within the script, then you're missing the point. The dean of the college is trying to take out soups because of an episode that happened in the very first season of The Boys. A whole series, okay? What other cinematic franchise is doing that? Even the Marvel shows don't flow that well together, like at all. The main girl, her name is Marie Moreau. She has a power to like hemokineticism. She's hemokinetic. So basically she can control blood. She can manipulate your blood, my blood, her blood, anybody's blood. So she can either save you, she can kill you, whatever. If you are a Boys fan, you know that Victoria Newman is also hemokinetic and she can make heads pop. Even like the crossover of the characters, Translucent from The Boys, his son Maverick is also translucent in the show. Like he is translucent. I just can't believe that they were able to execute that so well. Then the season finale, which I hated the season finale of Gen V, but I do understand why they made it so short, and I also understand after rewatching it why they did it how they did it. I want Homelander to come save the day, and he comes to save the day, but he's Homelander, so he turns on the real heroes and basically blows Marie's chest in. The real heroes of the show are now put into a hospital that has no windows and no doors, so they really have no escape. Big part about the Gen V finale is the post-credit scene, which is Billy Butcher from The Boys. At first I was like, why is Billy Butcher in here? And he was just looking, but I watched it again, did some research, and I discovered the reason that Billy Butcher is in there the way that he is because season 4 of The Boys picks up a couple of days after all the events that happened in the finale of Gen V. That's what I call a flow. That is how you do a sequel. I feel like the shows should line up with each other. Like I don't think the shows should ever be on at the same time. I don't think Gen V and The Boys should be on at the same time. I think all the shows should work together piece by piece. Even when Gen V comes back on, I don't think it should cover whatever The Boys is about to cover, because I think it just causes so much disconnect and overlap. And that is why sequels don't work. That is why spinoffs never work, because every show has to mention certain pieces that were brought up in the other show. Or every show got to talk about, oh, well, we had this Christmas party in this show, so let's talk about it in this show, even though it's now months past and the script doesn't align. That happens a lot in the Tyler Perry universe, like with Sisters and Zatima. A lot of the crossovers don't really make sense, like it doesn't add up, but here it adds up. Honestly, if more shows take the time to really think out their script, think out their characters, really build a universe before creating a spinoff, I think that more spinoffs will work. But I think so many people will be focused on, okay, well, people like this character, so let's give this character a show. But did the character really need a show based on the script of the show, or are you just going off of fan favorites? The Gen V really works because each character has their own background, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the original characters or storyline of the boys. They all have their own individual lifestyles, and I think that's really nice. Like Marie didn't even get her powers, she got her cycle at like 11, 12 years old. While some other kids were born with their powers, some kids, like everybody got their own issues and everybody got their own stories. It's not like one person is one and the same. It's not like everybody falls into one cookie cutter procedure. And then even stuff about the ratings is really important in the boys, like your points. That still crosses over in Gen V, so everything really flows in a line. As I was watching it, if you didn't tell me that Gen V was a completely separate show, I would just think it was a different episode or a different stream of characters. I'm excited about the season 4 of The Boys. I do feel like it does kind of need to touch on the relationship of Sam and his brother, or just focus more on why exactly the Woods was created. And if it was there because of Shetty, why? Why did you need to have a hospital under a college made for soups, and you're trying to like build soups and better the soups that you already have? Even after watching the finale, I really don't have a lot of questions. Like, I don't have a lot of questions about the boys. I don't have a lot of questions about Gen V. At first I did, because I couldn't necessarily understand why they show Billy Butcher, but now that I know that it's to set up season 4 of The Boys, I'm definitely more on board with their choice. I don't like that the finale was so short, but I mean, I am also one that doesn't really believe in overextending an episode just to fill the story. I mean, if the story is told, the story is told, no matter how long the episode is. I feel like this eyebrow could look better, but whatever. I also think that The Boys and Gen V does a really good job at character development. Even from just the 8 episodes, you see big changes within these characters, whether it's good to evil, evil to good, or just like a team player to a selfish, or selfish to a team player. And I think that's good too, because I want every single character to come back next season. I think everybody's story is told in a very understandable way. They had a lot going on at one point in the finale, but it wasn't like, oh, dang, I can't keep up. But it was like, oh, dang, they're trying to answer every question at one time. Good. I think more shows should do that. I feel like Gen V is the perfect spinoff for any show. I think that it's really thought out very, very nicely. I think that the characters are thought out very nicely. I think the way the story is told is at a pace that works. Some episodes move faster or slower than others, but by the time we got to the next episode, it made sense as to why. They had a lot of ground to cover in only 8 episodes, and I think they did a great job at doing that. But yeah, I really think that Gen V is the #1 spinoff show I've ever seen. I don't think there's any spinoff that's touching it. I don't care. I don't care. Actually, I'm not gonna say that. I think the originals is better than the Vampire Diaries. But other than that, there is no other show that is touching this. Yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed what we talked about today. Like I said, I really want this channel to be entertaining and fun. I don't want to just do summaries all day, so let me know in the comments what you want to see moving forward. What do you want to talk about? I have a lot of topics that I want to discuss with you guys, but I want to hear from you. So I hope you guys have a great day, and see you next time.